So they'll be calling you a radical. Sans parti. Est-ce que vous parlez français? Oui, sprechen Sie Deutsch? Sehr gut, sehr gut. So it's on. Oui, 999. Oui. This is important. So the Net Zero Alliance. So stay with me. This is a big deal. This is historic. I've seen it. So the Net Zero Alliance is the consortium of all the wealth in the world, besides Bezos, Gates, and on paper, we're the richest guys in the world on paper. Pumped up fairy tale stock market, on paper they're the richest guys. They're not the richest guys in the world. That's when you take the stock, tell them to go unload their entire stock portfolio, the stock will crash 99%. It's Bezos, yay! Buffett, yay! Gates, Musk, how come they're all pro-nukers? So the real wealth of the world has put together, I mean, this is a huge, the EU taxonomy. I've seen it. They already came out. I mean, it's a done deal. No nuclear. Zero. So the French want to be, he wants to be the new Marie Antoinette. Marie Antoinette. Let them eat yellow cake. Obama, no, in France. What was the arranged marriage between her? By the way, are those Jefferson's kids? I think so. She's from Vienna. God, poor thing. What her parents did to her to try to keep the empire alive. So he's trying to keep the nuclear energy empire alive in France, no? How did they defeat Napoleon at Waterloo? They called in their cousins. Where's Rothschild's pigeon? Well, here's the difference. So at Waterloo, by the way, Napoleon, evil? Not as evil as what the other side was, whatever they are. The United States, the colony. They've been fighting over this land right here in the United States. Have you ever seen the movie Last of the Mohicans? I would recommend it. You know, the second one. It's my favorite movie of all time. It is an incredible, incredible masterpiece. They've been fighting over this land, the United States of usury. These Europeans. The Spanish crown, the so-called English crown, which is not English. France. The Louisiana Purchase on Balco, on CHEMO, home sans parti. So France throws down. He's seen it. He was pissed. The new. So, I got news for you. So, at Waterloo, I was at Freedom Eisenblau, the greatest anti-nuclear activist probably in Europe's history. I was at her house on the 200th anniversary of Waterloo. I cannot understate that, which she set up the meeting with Kevin Blanch. She had cancer. She didn't bother telling anybody. She requested the meeting. She set up the meeting. Not me. By the way, I never met such a powerful, elegant woman in my life as her. Besides my grandmother. Both of them. Incredible. She grilled me for 4 hours and then she died of cancer. Kevin Blanch, you're the tip of the spear. The greatest anti-nuclear energy activist Europe ever saw. And that's saying a lot because there's a bunch of good ones over there now. Thank you to all the anti-nuclears. We win and win. Thank you to Global 2000. I love you guys. I love you guys. All the great activists, you know, there's a whole bunch of them all over Europe. They're fantastic. So, he called in his cousins. Wellington was defeated at Waterloo. Rothschild had a messenger there with a carrier pigeon. Stock market crashes 90%. They're done. The empire, the British Empire, is over. Wait a minute. The cousins arrived. From where? Their cousins from Russia. Prince Harry, firstborn unicorn, hardcore firstborn. Same old thing, 1914, with their guns and their tanks and their bombs and their internet and their, what? Nuclear energy reactors. Pop, pop. Where does it stop? Pop, pop. Where does it stop? Chernobyl, Fukushima, TikTok, Diablo Canyon, Clock, SMRs, Idaho National Lab. I mean, Utah all in. Can you feel the love tonight? So what happened? Well, guess what this time? The carrier pigeon dropped dead on its way because of the fallout from nuclear energy. He dropped dead. All the birds dropping dead, so. Un sans petit down the stretch, they come at Delmar, the fast speeders stop at Delmar syndrome. Fukushima, 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 Fukushima. The end. The end. Elephants in the room. Pot of dead whales in the room. The Utah right here. Let's get a shot of this. On the mighty Wasatch. Wasatch? Why would Utah, this incredible mountain range, why would it possibly be called the Wasatch? Who's the savages? The mighty Wasatch. Wasatch is French for hide. Oh yeah, lawns growing like crazy in late November. I mean, like crazy. We'll be mowing lawns into December. Drought over. Fairy tale land, drought over. The propaganda wars. They're even using weather as propaganda now. Firstborn unicorn. I spy with my little eye. Hide. It'll be 200 years to ask the 100 guy here. They were here for the... You ever seen the movie Revenant? Leo DiCaprio gets eaten by the bear. Bezos got all nervous because Bezos' girlfriend's talking to cat. He's an activist. What's... Yeah, right. We all live in a green washing machine. You ever seen the movie Revenant? That's based right here. Jedediah Smith and Jim Bridger right here. Right here. They're here to get the fur. Who's the savages? So... he throws down. When the Net Zero Alliance, not only did they say no nuclear, they called out the sham of the SMRs and told what a fairy tale joke it is, and they called out Utah by name. They called out Warren Buffett by name. They called out Bill. Now, why would Utah's Governor Cox? Because Governor Cox is ignorant. I mean, he's a nice enough guy, but he's just ignorant. And I can prove that. I'm at the Bear River Massacre. Say, he spoke. I'm like, well, what are you doing here, Spencer? He knows me personally. And he gave a speech. He says, the reason Utah's finally shown up for the first time ever is because this was Utah territory. So I says, aren't you running for governor? Yeah. I says, that's not a very good propaganda speech. Of course, it doesn't matter. The districts are rigged here. I mean, everything's rigged. I mean, he won with what, 30-something% of the vote? Of course, we didn't have much alternative choices. I says, this wasn't, Franklin, Idaho was never, the Bear River was never Utah. It was Washington territory. That's not what we were told. I thought he was the leader. Okay, Spence. Then I asked him, not long before he got elected, about the SMRs and the nuclear waste in Utah. He told me he didn't know what an SMR was. But yet now, 8 months after he gets elected, he gets in bed with Bill Gates to build a small nuclear facility in Wyoming. The EU taxonomy document calls this out. Just what I'm saying. I don't think people realize that Utah's the only place in the world, and it's all fraud. New Scale from Hell is a fraud. I outed. They had one, when this was all coming, when Obama came here and was supposedly solar out at Hillfield, whatever. Total lie. I told everybody this is propped up nuclear. Met with the Mormon Church, the whole thing, and I grew up with the president of the Mormon Church. I mean, heart surgeon. Split me open, pour me out. He's tried to battle him. He's getting nowhere. He might as well be standing in Times Square with no underwear. Toshiba, the ball dropped. Yeah, Toshiba used to be there. Now, this is important. Arriva. Arriva's been bankrupt how many times? The French backed, that's the nuclear industry. In Savannah River, South Carolina, the Mox Tower to Babel, which I was on the Hill and I was an expert witness on this. It started out at $451 million. I says, they don't have it. It's a lie. It's a lie. The Revit, the Mox fuel's against the law in the United States. So they shipped it to Unit 3 in Fukushima, Japan. And it blew up and got into your bone marrow and killed the Pacific Ocean. Genocide. Unarguable fact. They can fairy tale. Butterflies coming back in California. Fairy tale news at 3. Film at 11. No, they're not. They're down 99%. 90% of everything in the ocean has collapsed. Salmon, unarguable proof. Kevin Blanche. Dead tide pulls at your feet. I do the work. Proof means nothing. So they go bankrupt. Arriva. They took Chicago Bridge. And I remember when I told you to court Chicago Bridge and buy puts way down on it in 2017? How come you didn't? It went from $17 to $8 in one day. A lot of guys made a lot of money in the derby. That's the exact time I was in the ICU unit with my chest split open. My heart failed from the chemo. 10 years ago today. I got the call from Dr. Hansen. Go check into the bone marrow transplant tomorrow on 11/11/11. Whoa, what a 10 years. 2 months to live. Split me open and pour me out. There's things inside that scream and shout. Where's your crown? Where's your crown? Where's your crown in France? Where's your crown? The new! And she takes the fall. By the way, Marie Antoinette never said that. She's from Vienna. She's from Vienna. And they tried to escape, her and the arranged marriage. Remember they tried to escape and they got caught? What brought down the Austrian-Hungarian Empire? A Browning gun from Utah. Oh, yeah. Sarajevo. Black Hand. Firstborn unicorn. A baby's dropped in the monarchy in California. Maybe you can call his cousins, Prince Harry. They want the monarchy back, if you haven't noticed. They want imperialism back. Ask Trump. The judge yesterday on Trump, on his side, says, presidents are not kings. I thought we fought against the imperialists. That's what this country is fundamentally founded on. Un sang parti! Last of the Mohicans on CHEMO! A Balco! The French monarchy, the Spanish. You need to learn to speak American. America Vespucci never spoke the Queen's English. He spoke Italiano. Born and raised in Florence, Italy. I did videos at his grave. By the way, never set foot here. The map maker. He spoke Italiano and Spanish. It becomes as natural as the Spanish unleashing cows onto the Santa Barbara landscape. It becomes as natural as occupying a bird refuge. Yeehaw, I'm a cowboy. Okay. Spaghetti Western on Balco. On CHEMO. Stay with me. So, battle lines have been drawn. Sugar wars, textiles wars, molasses wars, plutonium wars. A lot of money in plutonium. Power, they think. You know, in Europe, they don't teach the Civil War. They don't call it the Civil War in the United States. And you don't think that was nasty? You think this country is divided now, you think what it was then. They call it the Textile War. We know who funded the plantation owners. The imperialists. I mean, this battle goes on. Not over. Last of the Mohicans on CHEMO, I call it. Greatest movie of all time, by the way, if you've never seen it. Oh, I remember him being in university, working on a master program thesis, and my cinema professor, you had to write a thing about your favorite movie. He says, the old one or the new one? I says, the new, because it was just out when I was doing my master's program. We had a long discussion about that film in Hollywood and the Vienna propagandists that got control of Hollywood. And I remember he dove into it. Richard Burton, you ever seen what he said about Hollywood? Oh, who wrote his biography? Vaughn McKay Brody on the Wasatch. Wasatch means hide. Up there in Cash, I see Utah State got beat by UC Davis at home. What? Cash? What does cash mean? It's French. Un sont pas... Est-ce que vous parlez French? Oui, oui. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? The Austrian version. Sehr gut! Sehr gut! Sabe español. But my English is terrible. I don't speak the Queen's fucking English. I speak Rocky Mountain E. Rocky Mountain High! This ain't fucking Colorado. Utah funding these. The battle lines have been drawn. So he comes out yesterday, we're building more nuclear, he's throwing down. Okay. He already bankrupt. You at Savannah River, South Carolina, one guy went to prison, but not the bribees. They bankrupt $29 billion. $29 billion. The Department of Energy goes in, the Justice Department does an investigation, right as let them eat yellow cake, Obama Dumber was leaving office behind his back, and said their internal investigation said that $29 billion they've been billed for 78% completion is only 28% complete. There's $20 billion missing. And the Washington Post reports it as an oversight. Well, who owns the Washington Post? Los Alamos? Jeff Bezos? Look up his grandfather, guys. The original nuclear energy NEI propagandists. The people that attacked Kevin Blanchett went after Kevin Blanchett. Why? His chest was... They attacked me so viciously. The FBI busts him in Ohio. The state legislator is either suicided or suicides himself. Householder and crew, 4 of them going to prison for a long time. In South Carolina, he's already in prison. But not the bribeers. Arriva? Bankrupt again. Bankrupted Chicago Bridge and Iron, which started in Ogden, Utah. We used to call it Ogden, Utah when I was a kid, Little Chicago. I'll tell you a cool story. It's a true story. This is George Pappas Sr., who told me this, because I used to work for him when I was restoring everything. Al Capone, owned most of Ogden, a lot of it. Most corrupt place in the world. It was all 100% prostitution. Why don't you just move here? Ogden's way too rough for me. That's Al Capone. The great Freudian city, Ogden, Utah, found McKay, Brody, Bernard, DeVoto, across the wide Missouri, CHEMO, Kevin D. Blanche. Blackball me. There's a higher power. There's a higher power than you secret societies who are all in nuclear energy. Why is Utah funding these? The only place in the Net Zero Alliance calls them straight up out. Calls you to what? It's a fairy tale. It's a lie. We're not funding a lie. They come right out and says, no. In the EU, you don't think the EU taxonomy is gigantic? Oh, it's gigantic. They're done. French spit in their face yesterday. They know. So here we go. Last of the Mohicans on chemo, and Utah is going to fund the Ashley 100. That'll be 200 years. Jedediah Smith, Jim Bridger, Kit Carson, all of them. Fremont, ooh. Peter Skeen Ogden never set foot in Ogden. I mean, these guys were nasty. Go ask any of the Shoshone. Go ask them. The Bear River Massacre, I asked the Attorney General of Utah. Asked him to his face. Sean Reyes, and I like Sean. Don't get me wrong. I don't like his ways in office, his personality. He's a pretty nice guy. He always has been to me, polite and nice, but he ran down to Nevada to try to freaking stop the steal for Trump. Meanwhile, NewScale's looting the state, $400 million. I caught him under the stairs in the Utah State Legislature, which is against the law, lobbying. Inside, you had one people in Inception battling them, Kevin Blanche. That was it. They call the taxonomy, calls it out in name. They call out Wyoming. They call out Bill Gates. Warren Buffett came in and stole the school business in freaking that I taught at, #1 school business, the Wattis School. What? Wattis? The Wattis curse? What? #1? Yep. That Wattis. Which is GE. GE splitting up in 3 companies. GE is Utah Construction. They stole it. Bill Gates, there used to be a picture on the wall. Oh, God. This is cooler back in the day. This is 25, 30 years ago. They stole it in 2000 when Clyde Cooley died. The fight is on. Sugar wars, textile wars, molasses wars, cocaine cowboys. You ever seen the documentary Cocaine Cowboys? It is a fucking masterpiece. Have you ever seen the Kevin Blanche documentary? 11,000 videos fucking later. Plutonium wars! The battle lines are drawn. Un sont partis! Jacques Lebleu, est-ce que vous parlez français, non? Oui, j'ai parlé français. Oh. 9. Oui. 9. The battle lines are drawn here in the United States, and Utah's funding them to be tested in Idaho by an Oregon company. They're a fairy tale. They call it right out and call them a fairy tale. We're not funding this lie. So, Santa Susana, don't you cry for me. I came to Utah with a load from Santa Novary. Pop, pop. This is the nuclear waste place. The Mormon Battalion on Balco. On CHEMO. California, the only place said, nope, shut them down, baby. But they're still trying. They don't give up. This war over this land goes on. The French, the Germans, the Spanish have been fighting over this ground. The Russian River? Oh, whoa, wait a minute. Monterey Bay, the dinghy that was found in Monterey Bay is carbon dating from 1362. What? The ocean blue. Columbus! I envision. Right there. The railroads, when they meet, that's my great-grandfather's house. The UPSP railroad, when they meet, was in his house. Hunsakerville. The statue at Old Town. You're looking at him. Thomas Hart Benton. May 10th, 1869. Promontory, Utah. That's my grandpa standing on the second one back. I envision someday a statue of Christopher Columbus on the highest Rocky Mountain peak. He's pointing at Mount Ogden. Changed the name of Ogden. Peter Skeen Ogden was evil. He lived in Oregon. Well, he died in Oregon, so he never set foot in Ogden. If you're going to name it after one of the fur rapers, why didn't you name it after Miles Goodyear? He was the first one here. It was originally named Brownsville. He was a crook. He was Mormon Battalion. I just simply call it Blood. Blood, Utah, the great Freudian city. Ask Fawn McKay Brody. Blackball me on Monroe on Bernard DeVoto Avenue. On Jefferson, she wrote Jefferson's biography. It's irony because the classroom's on Jefferson Street. They used to be named after the Mormon prophets. They changed it. Kiesel took them off. Of course, he named a street after himself. The last of the Mohicans. All roads lead to freaking Vienna. Barry Antoinette Obama did say it. Let them eat yellow cake on March 17th. And I never promised you a rose garden. Fukushima plume. No meltdowns. Scientists tell us that the plume is coming. Humma said she was changing Hillary's diapers all the time. Read her book. Read it. That's not my word. That's Humma's words. She doesn't say about don't go outside. Wash your clothes. Make sure you take a shower. Not worth it. The nuclear fallout, the experts are telling us that it's radioactive. They didn't tell us that. Barry Antoinette Obama to Marie Antoinette. Marie Antoinette never said that. The poor young woman in the arranged marriage to him, and I don't think he was hetero. Well, that's unarguable. Jefferson got the money to fight the American Revolution. From what? The French. The French Revolution was started by 7 people. One, an 8-year-old freaking kid living in the sewer. Maximilian was an anti-capital punishment activist. And then Maximilian was beheading 40 people a day. He invented the double guillotine. Then what happened to him? Whoa. The war goes on. Firstborn unicorn, hardcore, California. The only place that fought back in the United States of California. We're going to be nuclear free. They're clinging on to their fingernails to Diablo Canyon, TikTok. Chu, who was Secretary of DOE when Fukushima happened. He's at Stanford now. Where's Teller buried? Teller's buried at Stanford. The most evil human being who ever lived on the face of the earth. Teller. Murdered